Win big with new DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all three past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer for Kentucky Derby Prep Recap. We know we have big fields and big money at Kentucky Downs. Now we'll see if we have a potential Breeders' Cup winner. A win and you're in was the Kentucky Downs Turf Cup. Let's watch that race going 1.5 miles. Maybe not the strongest field on paper, Mike. It was going to be a good test, though, for the two Integration, a horse that's always had a ton of potential and went off favored in here.
Yeah, it seemed like a good spot for him. He did have, he had to prove that he could get this far. He'd never been the 1.5 miles, Dan, and I suppose that, maybe could have been an issue for him here, especially over this turf course. Listen, it's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. I don't think there are any real implications for the Breeders' Cup turf coming out of this race. But all in all, it was a well-matched field, a really, a very likable winner of this race who got a good trip because this pace, rock solid for the distance.
Yeah, it was expected to be so. Get Smoke, the gate-to-wire winner of the United Nations and the defending champion in this race, is setting the pace outside of the California speedball Balladeer, who's taken in hand. You know they're going quick when Balladeer's 2.5 off the lead at the half-mile pole. That sets things up very nicely for the number 10 Grand Sonata, who just settled beautifully under Tyler Gaffalione.
I mean, Gaffalione just gave this horse a perfect trip. This horse rated very kindly. Gaffalione will eventually get his way over to the inside as this field enters the far turn, and he gets the run of the rails here to take advantage. This is a really strong pace, though, as we've already noted. These horses that are up front right now, they're going to be nowhere at the end of this race. They're all going to give it up, and the closers are going to come running.
It's not like Grand Sonata, is coming into this race with no form whatsoever and was a no-hoper. The horse ran very, very well in the United Nations, rallying to just get pipped in a photo finish by Get Smokin', and then just caught a paceless race up at Saratoga in the Sword Dancer. This was a little bit of class relief, and I guess for Todd Pletcher, the question mark was, how would this horse handle the quirky surface? He handled it just fine.
Yeah, he's a really, really cool horse. He's certainly not, top of this division by any stretch, but he's underrated. He's always been a good horse. He's shown up over several different turf courses, several different distances. Look at this trip he pulls right here, Dan. The rail's wide open. Integration was in front of him as they came in the stretch, but he elected to switch outside, which I don't think was a mistake, Dan. It just didn't happen to work out. This horse has a perfect run up the inside here. He's going to grind this thing out and get the job done. It's a quality win for a horse who kind of deserves one of these.
Highway Robber, who is stepping up in class, but coming into this race in improving form and a horse with promise. He's going to get up for second in here, but Grand Sonata is always finding just a little bit more at the wire. The Honest Tawny Port finished third. A good trip win for Grand Sonata. He gets a big win, perhaps well-deserved win, because he's always been very consistent.
Yeah, he's just a really cool horse, and he's always been underrated. This is a nice win for him. I don't think this race has any implications as far as a Breeders' Cup goes. He's going to be in, if they run him there, he's just going to be in against way, way tougher horses and horses that he probably can't go with.
I agree with you. I think this race is hard to make as a true Breeders' Cup prep, other than a win and you're in. Did you see any trips that maybe some of these horses were compromised and you might want to play them back in lesser spots?
Not really. I mean, I'll be interested. Again, I'm starting to get a little tired. I'll be interested to see what Integration does. I feel like he's a miler, Dan. I'd like to see them go shorter with him and just let him. He's got a big burst of speed in him. I just think he needs a little pace to run at. They tried the 1.5 miles here. Seemed like he didn't get it. I understand what Carmouche was doing. He could have got the rail run that the winner got, but he elected to switch outside. He gave this horse a chance at it, and he just didn't finish that hard going this distance over this turf course.
I do think Highway Robber has some upside potential. I'm not sure he's a grade 1 horse, but I could see him maybe at the Keeneland Fall Meet in one of those longer distance races.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I feel like he does have forward to go in here. He ran fine in this race. It was another, move in the right direction for him. It showed that he can at least get, a distance of ground as well. So they have options with this horse now. I'd be shocked if I saw him turn up at the Breeders' Cup, but there are races out there for this horse going forward, I think.
Tawny Port's a consistent, likable horse, but to me he's more of a grade 3 type than anything else. It'll be interesting to see what's next for him. I won't be surprised if maybe he's down in South Florida in those longer distance races.
I was just going to say, there are plenty of races for him down at Gulfstream Park over the winter, and he's going to, he'll be real tough in those races. He doesn't win very often, but he shows up every single time.
And as for Get Smokin', he's sort of a Jekyll and Hyde candidate. When you give him an easy and uncontested lead, as he got in the United Nations, he's a bear. And when you press him a little bit, he's going to get tired. I wouldn't write him off if he shows up in a race without any pace.
I agree with that. And he's also a horse that, you can run him over several different distances too, Dan. I mean, he doesn't have to go the mile and a half. He's good going shorter. He's good going longer. They have tons of options with this horse, and he's always very dangerous if he makes an easy lead.
Let's get a closer look at Grand Sonata, who earned a 99 Beyer speed figure, winning at Kentucky Downs for Todd Pletcher. He's by Medaglia d'Oro. Whisper Hill Homebred is now banked over $2 million in his career. Distance isn't an issue, but boy, do the waters get deeper if he shows up in the Breeders' Cup. We'll take a look at the prices. He paid a very generous price at Kentucky Downs, over $32. Highway Robber continues to improve with second. Tawny Port with his usual consistent effort third. 10-1-7 in the Kentucky Turf Cup. We'll see if Grand Sonata braves the deeper waters at Del Mar.